Chair and Minister, as you know, I've taken up the issue with the Government regarding the denial of the COVID-19 pandemic unemployment payment to people over the age of 66 who are working either a full-time or part-time. I want to again state that I believe that this is totally unacceptable. Anybody who is working and has lost their job, regardless of age, should be entitled to this payment. These were the very people who were leading by example in terms of government policy of pushing up the retirement age, and they are the very first people that are sacrificed in terms of welfare support. Is this fair? I have three specific questions. If you are over the age of 66 and not receiving a state pension, should you be eligible for the pandemic unemployment payment? Secondly, those in employment over the age of 66 have additional outlays based on their income to date, mortgage, loan repayments, etc., similar to other people under the age of 66 with families. But this cost isn't being recognised, and why? Thirdly, families with children where the only income earner is over 66 years of age are losing out as a result of this policy. What specific provisions are being put in place in these instances to mitigate against children suffering additional financial hardship? Minister, the only movement on this issue to date has been the assurance that I was given that those over the age of 66 who, as a result of COVID-19, were experiencing financial hardship could look for supplementary welfare allowance, and that community welfare officers were cognisant of this group of people. Now, I've referred a number of people through this process, people with significant financial commitments, others with young families, and all have come back to say that they do not meet the criteria for supplementary welfare allowance. Minister, can you comment on this group of workers who have been denied the pandemic unemployment payment, and will you provide me with the numbers in this category who have received some financial support from their local community welfare officer?
Thanks, Chair. So, I think I mentioned earlier on that it was under the Social Welfare Consolidation Act, the people who are entitled to receive employment or unemployment benefits are stipulated between the ages of 18 and 66, the pensionable age, because the person becomes pensionable on that day and receives their payment. So the first question you've asked me is, if somebody is not in receipt of a pension, then they should apply for one. We've had situations where people were in receipt of less than full pensions, full contributory pensions, that have lost their income in the last number of weeks, and we've reviewed their cases and given them a full non-con pension, which, as you know, is only 5 years in the difference between a full con pension. But absolutely anybody else that has outgoings that are in excess of their income, that's deemed necessary for them to live, are being looked after by the Supplementary Welfare Scheme, and we actually reduced the means test on that. The criteria and the conditions on that scheme at the beginning of the pandemic payment to take into account that normally you have means in the bank, just to leave that alone, and to allow people, obviously just based on their income, to be helped by the state and their outgoings. So if you have, I think you've probably mentioned that you have a number of people who you think have applied and haven't been helped. If you want to give them names to me, I can certainly have a look at them. But like, our doors are open. Our CWOs have been all instructed to help as many people as we can with as many ways as we can. I think an awful lot of our schemes have changed. Our one-parent family scheme has changed, worker family. Like, I won't use your time, but we have tried to accommodate and not quite thrown out all the rules, but to have been as flexible as we possibly can to ensure that we leave nobody behind with regard to income supports.